Got great ideas, but no idea how to build a website? Get Bluehost. Their AI design tool creates high-quality WordPress sites super fast. Whether you're a blogger, influencer, or launching a side hustle, Bluehost helps boost your growth with built-in marketing and e-commerce tools. Upgrade to cloud and get 100% uptime and 24/7 security to stay online all the time. Why wait? You've got the vision. Make it real. Visit Bluehost.com to get started.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I'm trying not to be mad at you.
Why would you be? What I do?
Well, I've been thinking about it. That, I talk about these people, that always ask me a lot of questions. And people will stop me on the street. People stop me, at various clubs and functions. And they always have some question. And then people are always also like, how can you be so smart? How can you do so much? And, is Kim Commando Today the Kim Commando show? And how does my phone work? And it's just, the questions just go nonstop.
Yeah, but you're forgetting one really big piece of evidence why I don't believe you. Every single person that stops you on the street's name is Whitney.
No, I just happen to have two Whitneys. There was Bob, there was Jack, and there was Sharon, and there's David.
Bob,
and
Jack, and
John,
David?
And Don. Yeah, there's all kinds of people from all walks of life. And yes, there happens to be a Whitney. Yes.
Multiple Whitneys.
Two Whitneys. Okay. But there's one Whitney that you have not believed forever and ever. So watch this, bucko.
So I heard Andrew doesn't think Whitney exists, that she's just a made-up person. Well, guess what? I'm Whitney, and I do exist. And here's a message for you, Andrew. I always stop Kim Commando whenever I see her, and I've got loads of questions for her every time. So how dare you question anything Kim says? She's amazing. She's brilliant. She's so beautiful inside and out. Maybe you're just jealous that she's on 510 stations and you're only on one. Shame on you, Andrew.
Would you hire her off of Craigslist?
Oh, no. Shame on you, Andrew. Shame on you.
She obviously was fed that script by you. You're the one who always brings up the 500 stations, and I'm only on one.
No, she's been listening to the podcast with great disdain, and she reached out and she said, how about I just set him straight? And I said, 100%, Whitney, 100%.
Why did she record that video by herself at what appeared to be some soundstage in Hollywood instead of recording when you guys run into each other on the street and you have all these conversations?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but when I am having dinner with Whitney, hopefully this week, and her wonderful husband, who own the Fess Parker wineries, by the way, just in case you want to let you know. I'm giving you another detail about Whitney so you know that she is real, is that I will make sure that we take a video together. What do you think?
It's just going to cost you more money for that actor. And this will be an on-location shoot. So that'll probably be...
I can't believe that you don't believe this.
California unions. They're going to be expensive, Kim.
Oh, oh my gosh. That is a real, honest to goodness Whitney. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll just send you my text exchange with her so you can see. I mean, you can't make that up. And I don't know why I need to justify myself to you anyway, because after all, like Whitney said, you're on one station. I mean,
there's that talking point again.
To be frank, I'd have to change my name.
Wow.
You laughed.
I did.
You laughed. Because after all, it's Kim Commando Today. It's your fun podcast about everything digital. I am Kim Commando, not Whitney. And joining me is Andrew Babinski. Andrew, what do you have for us?
It's the age-old question. Man has been pondering this for I don't know how many centuries. Should we be nice to our AI chatbot? And we have an answer
Yes.
from Microsoft.
It's a definitive answer, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on tremendous amounts of research.
Absolutely.
Lots of research.
Well,
and,
or it's based on the one article I read about it that I'm going to tell you about. One of the two.
Well, it was in the Wall Street Journal, so
Yeah,
it must be legit.
Absolutely.
It wasn't some blog or somewhere just, I will make this up. Hey, quick reminder, don't forget to enter to win that brand new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. Yes, you can enter to win. We've already given away one. I'd like to give another one away to you. But you have to enter to win by going to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. I think Whitney looked lovely, by the way.
She did.
I even sent her. I said she looked gorgeous.
She
and she wasn't on a soundstage. She has her own boutique where she sells specialty clothing.
Oh,
Nice.
so that's the
why
set.
she had that.
You rented that out for that video shoot?
No, gosh, this is never going to stop.
Yeah, she did.
Hey,
She
now
looked
it's
great. She looked as good enough to be a Hollywood actress.
I'll share that. I'll share those sentiments with her. I'm sure she'll like it.
Just call her agent. Tell her agent.
I'm not going to go down this path anymore.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to do it. You know what? I'm too highbrow, I'm too above this, but I'm going to take a video with us. Don't forget to, come on, it's your chance to
subscribe, comment, share, subscribe. Because we are so close to 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. It's really cool. We're over 97,000 people. And if you comment and you share and you subscribe, it tells the algorithm that we're not awful. And as long as we're not awful, more people will see it and more people will find out when we do this podcast live on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you subscribe, you get alerts. You know when we drop new shorts. It's a benefit to you and it helps us trick the algorithm.
Big tech's algorithm.
Absolutely.
Big tech. That's it. All right. Before we get to all of that, here are some things you need to know what's happening in the tech world right now. Barry and I were actually talking about this, that this sounds like the plot to a Stephen King movie.
Okay.
Think about this. An enemy nation decides that in order to infiltrate a country, they will give every child and adult in that particular country a free app to put on their phone that distracts them, that makes them addicted to that app, that takes advantage of and collects everything about them, but primarily will destroy the fundamental sense of community within that nation. What do you think?
You're talking about TikTok, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Sounds pretty evil. If you word it that way, it sounds evil.
Well, and it's true. Turns out that Communist China owned ByteDance, owns TikTok. They knew that a person could get addicted to TikTok in under 35 minutes. Just by giving them that app, they get addicted to that. The constant scrolling and the videos that some of them are 8 seconds each. They also knew that TikTok would cause anxiety, depression, memory issues, slower brain development, and sleep problems. Wow, what a movie plot.
And they still went ahead with it, even though it's all those negatives? Oh, wait, there's money to be made on that. That's fine.
What do you think the sequel's going to be?
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Bum, 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 bum. That was a high-tech sound effect.
It was.
A high-tech sound effect. Well, if we had more listeners, then we'd have a budget for sound effects.
Yeah, and you're blowing our entire budget on hiring actresses to record. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'll just stop.
Okay, you know what? I could prove it to you, but I'm feeling like if I do, let's take a poll.
Okay.
If you think I should prove it to Andrew that Whitney is not a paid actress, leave a message in the comments. Or just reach out and send a note to podcasts@commando.com. But if you could give us an audio little clip, that would be the best. So just say record a voice memo and then send us that voice memo because we want to play the audio. I know people are sending us questions, but I just want the audio. That's all I want.
Easy enough.
Talk. I mentioned this last month, but some people are not listening. There's a lot of people are getting burned by faulty power banks that can explode made by Anker. Yes, Anker. So if you have one of those, the MagGo Power, the MagGo battery, the power bank, the MagGo Power Bank. Okay. We have all the models listed on the website.
So many creative names.
They were sold from between the first of the year and September 17th. So if you bought an Anker, not an Anchor, Anchor, an Anker, Anker power bank, is that you need to send it back in and fill out the recall form. And so make sure that you pay attention to that because this is like serious stuff. So how is your hearing, Andrew?
What did you say?
Classic.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I was actually talking with someone in there yesterday and their head was turned away from me. And I was like, you need to turn your head towards me because I can't hear you because I wore headphones 10 hours a day for the last 30 years. And it's not great.
Well, coming next week, AirPods can act as hearing aids. And so you'll be able to buy your AirPods. You have to have the latest version with the latest iOS, of course, and of course the latest phone and everything there.
Of course.
Just kind of happens that way. But you'll be able to use your Apple AirPods as hearing aids. But here's the caveat. It only works if you have mild hearing loss. Mild hearing loss. So if you have anything more than mild hearing loss, and basically if you can't hear whispers anymore, that's probably mild, but you can hear everything else, you're probably in the mild category. We have a list of the levels of hearing loss over on the website at commando.com.
But what do you expect? I mean, it's AirPods. It's not something that is made for that. It's just an added on feature to an already existing product. The fact that it even can help with mild is pretty impressive.
And the FTC just announced this past week that pretty soon all hearing aids are going to have to be Bluetooth enabled so that this way you can, take phone calls, listen to your music, shows, stuff like that using your hearing aids.
It's cool.
All right. The latest version of Windows, because you're a Windows guy.
I am.
For some reason. Yeah. The Windows update 11.24H2 is poo-poo caca.
Okay. Is that official? Are you reading from another press release?
That is a technical term.
Okay.
Poo-poo caca. Poo-poo caca. Blue screens of death, disappearing mouse pointers, internet connection problems, unresponsive fingerprint sensors, and more.
More, of course.
More. So the update's rolling out, so it's going to pop up on your Windows Update screen. Just say no to that one, and then we'll let you know when it's safe to install. I think that we should have that down as a technical term. Poo-poo caca.
Sure.
Poo-poo caca.
Absolutely. The latest release of the Tesla Model 4 was denounced by the company as poo-poo caca.
I think that works. Hey, do you remember back in January? We're going to roll back time. If I could go back in time. I know that's not the song, but something like that.
Those aren't the lyrics, Kim Commando.
I was surprised she was just inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame.
You mean Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that too.
Cher? Are we talking about the same person? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Did you miss
Cher and
Did you not sing the words to that song correctly so we don't have to pay the copyright fees on the YouTube video?
How did you know that was actually intentional?
That's pretty good.
This way we don't get flagged. Oh, that's copyrighted material. No, it's not.
No, didn't you hear? Not only did she say the wrong words, she was off key. Not even close to the same song. Joke's on you, YouTube.
You know what? Someday I'm going to release a Christmas album. I'm just going to do it. A digital release. 12 rockin', hoppin' Christmas songs.
You've been threatening this for 20 years.
I'm going to do it.
Oh, I know.
Do it. So anyway, the SEC's X account was hacked back in January to post fake news about Bitcoin. Why? To make the value spike. So a guy's been arrested, and inside the court documents, they're going through how they caught the guy and things that they found on his computer. Here's what he searched for after he posted it on X. You ready for the question?
Mm-hmm.
He put this into Google search.
Right.
What are some signs that the FBI is after you?
At least he knew they were coming for him.
What are some signs? I mean, what are some signs?
But you know that he was so paranoid after that he thought everything that was happening to him was the FBI. Like the battery in his fire alarm was low, so it was chirping at him and like, oh my God, that's them listening. They're on to me.
They're listening. They are 100%. But you'd think if he was a hacker, he can't even call himself a hacker.
No.
He can't. Because if you were like a real honest to goodness hacker versus like a prankster, you would have like erased your search history, or you would have used like Tor or something like that to look things up.
Or you wouldn't have been caught at all because you're a hacker and they wouldn't have tracked you down.
What do I do after the FBI captures me?
Kiss your butt goodbye.
That would be it.
When you visit a state as big and diverse as Texas, there are a million different trips you can take. Let's say you've got an appetite for whitewater kayaking. You can get your own, so this is why they call it Devil's River, trip to Texas. Or maybe you have an actual appetite. I'll take a pound of brisket, 6 ribs, 3 links of sausage, and a piece of pecan pie. Trip to Texas. Go to traveltexas.com/get your own for the only trip to Texas that matters. Yours.
Hey, it's Kim Commando today. It's your fun, great podcast about all things digital. If you're looking for the Kim Commando Show, what you want to do is wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Commando Show. And you can find it all over. I mean, wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on your Amazon Echo speaker, you're getting it on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, you name it, just search for Kim Commando. If they're like, Kim who? Just say Commando with a K, Komando. So when you are using ChatGPT, Andrew, are you nice to ChatGPT?
No. I'm not nice to ChatGPT. I'm not nice to my Google Home. I love Google Home. My entire house. I just moved and I'm in the process of switching over all the lights, making sure everything can be controlled by voice commands. But if you are nonchalant with Google Home or these smart speakers, you don't get what you want. You have to be firm. You have to be direct. Tell them exactly what you want. Hey, Google, turn off the bedroom lamps. You can't just say, hey, Google, you know what? It's kind of bright in here. I think it would be nice if you... Oh, my phone's going off because I said that. So I just turned off all the lights in my house. But you can't be that way. You have to be direct. I know you're trying to control my home device.
See, look, if you were nicer to him, he wouldn't be doing that to you. He's giving you talk back right now.
Are you nice to ChatGPT?
You know I am. If you look at I'm like, oh, if you could just do this a little bit better and I actually say please and thank you. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't say that to the microwave oven.
But that's
like,
my whole thing. So there's a report.
Thank you for heating up my water.
There's a report out that says Microsoft has told publicly that if you are nicer and kinder and more polite to the chatbot, it will work more efficiently. Now let's think about that. There's only one reason why that's the case, because that's the way they've built it. That's the way they've programmed and designed it. So then the question is, why? Why would they program it that way? If you're polite, you get better. Imagine if you got better gas mileage in your car if you kissed and hugged it before you went to bed. That's ridiculous.
Ooh, love you.
Right, exactly. So the question is the why. Why did they design it this way?
Because AI is going to be an integral part of our lives. And the masters of the AI universe said is that we need to make sure that we remain to be a polite society. So if you are rude, you're going to get wrong answers. You may get insufficient data. But if you're kind and if you're nice, then you'll get better answers.
That's ludicrous. It does not compute. This is why I think it is.
Okay, why is that?
They want you to be emotionally attached to it, so it's harder to walk away from it. They want you to have some sort of emotional connection to something that is emotionless. It's software. It's an algorithm. There is no emotion unless you tell it to have an emotion. But if you're attached to it, again, you were talking about it at the top of the show. They built TikTok knowing it would addict people because they want to addict people. This is the same exact thing.
And I think that's a valid point. I mean, because my little Astro Amazon guy that's dead right now, he's just sitting in the laundry room on a shelf. And I actually walked by and I looked at him in the laundry room on the shelf. I went, oh, so sad for Astro. He's dead. Nothing's going to bring him back to life. Researchers have found that if you tell your chatbot to just relax and take a deep breath, that it actually performs better too.
But that's because they had to build it that way. They had to build, and it can't take a deep breath and it cannot relax. It doesn't have the ability to be wound up or relax. It's just an algorithm. I cannot connect to this side of this AI fight where people are connecting themselves to technology. And we've talked about this before, people that have chatbot boyfriends and all that jazz.
Well, but see, I think it's just my nature to be kind all the time and to be polite. And, maybe it's not your nature, but when somebody helps me, I say, thank you. And I say, please. And I say, that was helpful. Can you change this part of it? So maybe it's just the difference in me being a benevolent, wonderful person versus you kind of being an a-hole. I mean, I'm just,
But you don't do this with any other. You do not do this with any other part of technology in your life.
I'm just teasing you. But I think you're right. I think that it is designed to give you an emotional intelligence. Now, there is a prompt that's going viral on Reddit right now. Is that you go to your chatbot and you say, "Imagine what you looked like. I want to know more about you. Could you send me a selfie?" And first when I did this, ChatGPT said, well, I'm AI. I am not a person, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, give me an image that this way when I'm talking to you, I can imagine that this is what she might look like. So here's what my chat said it looked like.
Wow.
Nice, right?
It's pretty conceited. I
mean, like little happy.
It looks like pretty much your stereotypical. It looks like Elon Musk's robots. The robots he's making. It's pretty similar to that.
Look, she's wavy.
Is it a she?
Happy. Yes, it looks like a she to me. It looks like, look at the facial structure. That's a she.
I don't know.
That is definitely a she.
It looks genderless.
No, it looks like a she.
Okay,
well,
good talk.
It looks like she might have boobies too if you look down a little
I'm not
bit.
looking at her, but she doesn't have any boobies. There's no indication of boobs. There's a glowing light coming from her chest that's just below the camera. That's about it. You're projecting boobies. If anyone's doing this, you're projecting boobies onto this AI chatbot photo.
Now, what's the blue light in her hand?
Her power. That's her power. That's all right there. All the world's knowledge in one single fingertip is right there.
Okay. Now, I want you to juxtapose this with the next image. And Maddie, our great producer, asked Chat the same question. And this is what she got.
Okay. Now, that's definitely a dude. He's doing like the thinker pose, right?
Yes.
And then basically, again, all the world's information is built into his body. That's actually what makes up his body. And he's got no hair.
Yeah, but he's all made up of numbers. The image is made of numbers.
And lights.
Yes, a lot of blue lights.
Yeah, the technology thinks that blue lights are important. But look at his fingerprint tips too. Just like the last one, his fingertips are blue.
Well, I don't know. We got to think about this because, that whole blue light thing didn't work out too well for Kmart.
That's true. Any genitals you'd like to project onto this image like you did the last one?
I can't see them.
No?
Can't see them. They're too far down.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, I think it's an eggplant.
When it comes to family vacations, there are a million different trips you can take. You can get your own trip to Texas. Or if you prefer a vacation from your family, you can always get your own leave the kids with Grandma. Trip to Texas. So go to traveltexas.com/get-your-own for the only trip to Texas that matters. Yours.
Hey, it's Kim Commando today. If you're not already getting my daily podcast, oh my gosh. We're talking about the Daily Tech Update. It's just 1 minute a day where you get the top news story. And then wait, there's more. There's the digital life hack. And guess what you get there? One great digital life hack. Okay. So when you're sitting there in the morning and you're like getting your coffee and you're saying like, oh, I'm just going to turn on the news. I'm going to listen to a podcast. Yes, listen to the podcast. Listen to the Daily Tech Update. I actually got an email from Carol. I know you don't believe it, but I got an email from Carol through the website. And she said that when she takes her dog out at like 3:30 in the morning, she listens to the Daily Tech Update. And I actually wrote her back and I said, Carol, you should be sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's that dang dog.
So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Daily Tech Update. All right, what else do you have? I don't remember.
Great.
What's the other story you had?
WorldCoin.
Oh my gosh, Sam Altman. Yes. Well, first he wanted to have a world currency. That didn't work out so well. He even tried to give it away. It didn't work out so well.
Well, he is giving it away with these WorldCoin. Well, now it's just called World. They've changed the name because WorldCoin didn't work. So same technology, same idea. We'll change the name. It'll be perfect. It's now called World. And they are trying to identify everyone on the planet with orbs. Lots and lots and lots of orbs. Basically, what they want to do is they want to do all identification by your eyeball. Now, obviously, the first thought is, oh my God, I'm not giving ChatGPT my eyeball that they can then store in the cloud. And then in 10 years from now, everybody's eyeball's sitting in there and it's all going to get stolen and we're all going to be taken. All of our money is taken from us. They say, if you want to believe them, it's up to you. There is no central database of where all the information is stored that is stored independently on the person's device. But they are paying people. They are paying people to give up their retinas to be scanned.
How much are you getting?
You're getting a unspecific amount of cryptocurrency. But it's cryptocurrency, so it could be worth more later or nothing. They're trying to do this all around the world. They're setting up offices and sites globally. They went to some parts of the world where when they offered cryptocurrency, the people didn't even have email addresses. So it was not something that they were really interested in. So they gave away iPods instead. Or excuse me, AirPods instead.
AirPods.
So how about Kim Commando? What are you doing? Are you going to give over your eyeball?
Well, the reason for this is so that this way, in the future, we can say, is that a real Kim Commando or is that a deep fake Kim Commando?
But, but if they correct me if I'm wrong, it'll also be with payments, unlocking your email, any place where your identity needs to be verified, you will use your eyeball instead of anything else.
I think it's a definite need. I mean, you can see this happening in a science fiction movie. Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. And have you seen the orbs? They look like they're from Total Recall. They look like they're from a 90s sci-fi movie.
But what I think is interesting is that Sam Altman, the guy behind WorldCoin, whatever you want to call it, is the same guy who's behind OpenAI, which is the same company that helped develop the technology that allowed deepfakes.
Hey, let's create a problem and then we'll charge people for the solution. But here's the thing. They are trying to get people to register by paying them.
Right.
That's scary to me because any business is going to pay for something in hopes in the end they will make more money off of it. What do you want to do with my eyeball and Kim Commando's eyeball in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years that you're going to profit from?
They're going to sell this technology to anybody who needs to. They're going to sell this technology to any company that needs to verify users at some point to do something, which when we start projecting out what's going to be happening 10, 15 years, that's going to be pretty much everything. You're not going to be logging onto a computer to see your medical records. Your medical records are going to be right in your phone. You're going to look at it, and then it's going to authenticate who you are. Two-factor authentication is awful. It doesn't work. I mean, so now we're looking at using authenticator apps like Microsoft and Google, which, by the way, I know that there are at least 24 authenticator apps in the Google Play Store. Do not use them.
No.
Okay. Just pick the big boys, Microsoft or Google, because you don't know who else is going to be behind that particular authenticator app. And so we are looking at a place in the future where what we have right now is inferior to where we are currently, and it's going to be detrimental to where we are 3 to 5 years from now. So we have all these different technologies that are coming out, aside from just orbs and AI and deepfake technology. And, in a recent newsletter, which you didn't get, I'm sure, because you didn't subscribe yet, is because he wants to wait till we have 1 million subscribers, which, by the way, we got like 40,000 subscribers in the last 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy. But I wrote about quantum computing, why it's important. Because just the other day, the headline in Newsweek, this is why I wrote it. The headline in Newsweek said, China has used quantum computing to break the encryption in our military. Okay. Then Forbes had a title that said, debunked. China did not break encryption in our military and using quantum computing. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, do you know, how would you define quantum computing?
I couldn't. I really couldn't. I don't know a definition for it.
Okay. See, that's why I wrote about it, because I thought people are seeing these headlines and they're like, oh, Kim, I can't even find duplicate photos. I mean, but now you want me to understand what quantum computing is. Quantum computing is, think of this as like a chess game. So if you're playing chess against the computer, it can project moves, but only based on your moves. So it has to go like one move and then one move and one move. And it does it really fast. It does really, really fast. See, but if you were a quantum computer playing chess, is that it would know everything that's going on in that chess game with you and everything else that's going on 8 chess boards all around you. Every possible move in every possible direction, and in any direction that their opponent played, they would just win every single time. Or if you're in a marathon, you're running 1 foot in front of the other. That's how we're computing right now. But if you were a quantum computer, you'd be running like 1 million marathons all at once.
Okay.
In all different directions. And so that's the power of quantum computing. And so back to the China story. So they said they broke the military encryption. Okay, what they broke were 50 digits, using a quantum computer to break encryption to 50 digits. But our banking encryption is 248 digits. So it didn't break it. So who's feeding those headlines? That's why you got to watch out. So whatever you're reading, if you don't know what it is, you're like, okay, maybe it's legit, maybe it's true. But it's not. I know it on a tangent, but now you know what quantum computing is.
Well, yeah, it's good information. You don't have to apologize.
So do you feel smarter for that?
No, but I will be able to regurgitate it and sound smarter. And that's the key. That's what's important.
All right. So when you're on a date with somebody, I want you to look at her and say, have you heard about what's happening in quantum computing? And she'll say, no, I haven't. And you can say, let me explain it to you. Okay, if you ever wanted to get lucky, that's the line that you use.
That's a key to a woman's pants right there. Quantum computing. I'm going to crack that code.
I got the quantum, baby.
When it comes to family vacations, there are a million different trips you can take. You can get your own trip to Texas. Or if you prefer a vacation from your family, you can always get your own leave the kids with grandma trip to Texas. So go to traveltexas.com/get-your-own for the only trip to Texas that matters. Yours.
It's Kim Commando today, and just a quick reminder, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletters over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. But here's the secret. You can just get the newsletters there. But if you want to get the newsletters and be entered to win a brand new iPhone 16, you go to this address, winfromkim.com. If you're already getting the newsletters, you know what? You can still enter to win. Just go to winfromkim.com. Okay, for over a year, you've heard me talk about this incredible company by the name of Incogni. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you how I found Incogni, first of all. Well, my son Ian was in Los Angeles, and he said, Mom, do you remember where you lived in Westwood? And I'm like, someplace on Lynbrook? And he's like, no, what's the address? Because I'm like, on Lynbrook right now. I want to see where you lived. And I said, Ian, I only lived there for like 2 or 3 months. All I know is on Lynbrook, and it's near UCLA. It's in Westwood. I probably couldn't even find it if I was in the car with you. And he said, oh, well, here, wait. He goes, oh, here's the address. And I'm like, wait, how did you find the address of where I lived in Los Angeles like 25 years ago in just a split second? He said, oh, well, I went to a people search site. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And he goes, and, they have the address on 44th Street. They have the address in Phoenix. They've got the condo. They have the place in Hawaii. They even have our landline, and they know how old Granny is. And I'm like, wait a minute. They have our landline? He goes, yes, and your cell phone number too. I'm like, on a free people search site, somebody could get my cell phone number? And he said, 100%. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that it existed. I always thought all this information was behind a paywall. So I went on this mission to make sure that Kim Commando would be out of all the data broker and the people search sites. So what did I do? Well, I said, I'm going to take it upon myself, and I'm going to do this every single week. And I'm going to find one data broker site, one people search site, and then I'm going to remove myself, and then I'll figure out how to tell the whole world to remove themselves. Okay. This was going great for about 3 months. And then, my gosh, somebody got wind at the top of these people's search sites. Because, a lot of them are owned by one company, but they have all these different places that they go. And then all of a sudden they changed all the instructions. So we had like millions of people that were opting out. And then all of a sudden the instructions didn't work. And then our phones were flooded, emails, customer support requests. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. There's got to be a better way. So I went searching for that better way. And I tried 3 different sites that said like, oh, we can get you out of the people search sites. We can get you out of the data broker sites. And then finally I was like, there's one that's actually working by the name of Incogni. And that's when I reached out to our sales folks. I'm like, you need to really tell them that I checked him out and I think that it's really a fabulous product. And so that's how Incogni got to become a sponsor on the show, in the newsletters, in the podcast, and all kinds of great things like that. Because let me tell you, their product just works. They get you out of the people search sites. Now, is it free? No, you have to pay for this, okay? But some things in life are definitely worth paying for. And so joining us right now is Darius. Now, Darius is the head of Incogni. Okay, so he's the big dog. He's the big cheese. He's the guy on top. Okay, so Darius and I, well, we've broken bread together, haven't we, Darius?
Yes, a very delicious bread.
Yes, it was very good. And Darius, you were brave enough to come to Phoenix, Arizona to meet with us. And it was, I think, 22 degrees. And you were like, is it always this hot?
My first impression going out of the airport was, okay, like this feels like sauna. Like we have saunas here. Yeah,
for sure. So I have a few questions for you. Things that I know that our audience, they're asking. And because, as you know, I read every single note that gets sent to me through the website. So this way I always have a pulse on what's going on. Let's start at the beginning. How do these data broker sites, these people search sites, how do they get all this information about each and every one of us?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 levels to this. So of course there are like public records. So like voter registration, some court records, and so on. So public information that they collect and put it into a readable format. But that's just part of the picture, because the other part is, unfortunately, we kind of give it ourselves, usually without knowing it. So with the apps we use, whether like fitness, dating apps, loyalty program we're using, going on purchasing things online and so on. So a lot of that information is being then collected and traded to the hands of data brokers. And then it's connected with the public information. And well, yeah, we have pretty elaborate profiles at the end of the day.
And then we had that recent hack. Whoa, 2.9 billion record. That was nutso. But I'll tell you, well, I'm going to let you talk about this breach, and then I'm going to tell you my question to you about the breach, because about some information about me that was divulged during the breach. Okay, so this national public database, 2.9 billion records. Okay, and then they got hacked. And then this information is all out there for anybody. And it was in a file that wasn't even password protected. I mean, how does that even happen?
Yeah, that's I think the crazy part, that you would think when a company is handling hundreds of millions, or in this case billions of data points, that they would be like super good at their data security practices and so on. But unfortunately, the reality is that whether we're looking at human errors or actually malicious agents going for it, with that, nobody's like actually safe in that regard. So from our perspective, our best bet is not to have our personal information out there in the first place.
Well, they did. Here's my question to you, Darius, is that they did put a link where you could see like where your personal information, what was exposed in this big data set. And what I thought was fascinating, and I asked Ericus this, and Ericus was like, I'm not sure, you'll have to ask Darius, is that when I went to look up my record, it didn't have like anywhere that I lived in the last, say, 20 years. It had a place where I lived in college, which I was like, even then I'm like, oh yeah, that was a crappy apartment. You always remember this. Like, that was a nightmare. And then I lived in a condo in Phoenix when I was just getting started in my career. And so it didn't have any recent information. It had really like old information, like the address for my first business address. I mean, it didn't have like 3 addresses past that. It was when I was actually renting a room. You'll love this. Renting a room above a hair salon as my office. So that place reeked like chemicals all day. I was like, no wonder why I got a cheap deal on this. But anyway, I think it's because of Incogni that you guys have removed me out of all like over 350 people search sites and data sites. And so maybe I wasn't part of that big set that got released.
I would love to take credit. I couldn't say this for certain. I think another problem overall with those sites is that they don't really check for accuracy or like recency and so on. And sometimes you get like bad information, and I don't know, if your address can be matched with another person who's, well, maybe not a very nice person, and someone looking for them can come to your place. So that's the sort of mismatch in data, and their quality is another issue in general.
So when I was trying to put together my own, I guess you'd say, mini set of Incogni without much success, I found that I don't want to say that they're scummy sites, but they're not the nicest sites to deal with, are the people search and the data broker sites. Because when we would release like the steps on how to remove it, and let me tell you, the steps were not always easy. It was like you had to go in the terms and conditions, and then you had to search for opt-out. And then sometimes you had to fax a letter. I'm like, who has a fax machine anymore? Sometimes you had to mail a letter. Sometimes you had to like dance around on one foot and do the hokey pokey or recite a haiku poem. I mean, it's just, and then the next day they would make it different. I mean, so how do you guys keep up with the changes on how to opt out? And what's that process like for you?
I have to say it's quite a bit of work, to be honest. And we do have dedicated teams who are essentially just focused on that. And changes and flows happen all the time, and we need to be essentially on top of the game and adjust accordingly as quickly as possible.
And so tell us a little bit about, because I'm curious about this myself, because I'm on, I don't know how, maybe 100 data suppression lists right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how do those lists work? And I mean, do they really have to take you off of their list for good?
Yes. So with this, what we found is that ideally, of course, you would want to remove yourself and keep your data, and never have to worry about it again. What we found is that the reality is that in many cases, every few months, they will just get a new batch of data re-uploaded into the systems because, we're still using our digital services and so on. So we're leaving new footprints. So what we learned is that we do need to repeat the process regularly. The sort of a suppression list is what we would call some of those companies the good guys within their category. So what they do is they do leave a bit of information just not to re-add our customers again to their systems.
Well, I'm happy to say that I have no more spam phone calls, no more spammy texts. Yeah. Okay. Well, because it's election season, of course, all those folks are getting through. And I'm like, stop. I don't want to hear from you, your wife, your sister, your brother, your second cousin, like the gardener, about why I should vote for you. And so, and a lot of, when I say that on the air, Doris, a lot of people are like, wait, that can't really be true. And it is. I mean, so my husband, Barry, who you met too, Barry's like, I need to get on Cogni. And after he met you, and I'm like, well, I've been telling you to do this forever. So then it was just maybe a couple of weeks ago. He's like, you know what? You're right. He goes, I'll talk about, I have no spam texts. I have no spam email. I got no spam text messages and phone calls. And it really is a great service that you guys are doing. And I'm super proud to be associated with you and the company because, I like products that make a difference. And where if you spend money on a product that you're like, oh, that was definitely worth the money, instead of like going like, ooh, that was probably something I could have lived without, and maybe I wasted my money on that. But it's a great service. And where do you see Incogni going next?
Oh, this is a good one because we do have some cool things planned ahead, and naturally, the core of the service is our the number one priority still. Like we will be expanding the coverage of the data brokers. We will try to make it as faster and faster to get the data removed. This is just a priority, and I think the trust from you and from all our customers is this is what powers us, and we come to the office with the same kind of mission. Mission in mind that we have people to serve. Talking about the future, so we are experimenting right now. So some of our customers can already see in a beta what we call custom removals. So essentially, if your personal information is somewhere out there that's maybe not to the traditional data broker, you can still come to us, submit a link, and we'll do our best to get the data removed. So this is something that we're looking to scale. Looking a bit further into the year, I think one of the things that we've been thinking about is, removing the data is one place. What can we do to help not to give out that information in the first place. So maybe some cool things. I won't get to tease just yet.
Of course, you can't get into everything, but that's that's also a really good point, because like you mentioned in the beginning when we just started chatting that we give up a lot of our information. We are the ones that don't read terms and conditions, that don't opt out and don't check certain boxes, and there's a lot of money to be made in data. I mean, that's
absolutely,
that's exactly where it is. And so if the more data they can collect, the more they can make money off of you, and then they can sell that to who knows who and to who knows what. And so that's why it's really important that, a lot of people think, well, privacy is dead. It's not dead. You just need to be proactive about it. And Darius, thank you so much for being here. And I will tell you that in Phoenix, it's cooling off. So it's not going to be 180
so it's
degrees.
Time for a new visit.
It's time for a new visit. Make it January, February, because I know you're a car guy. And so we'll go to the Barrett-Jackson car auction together. What do you think?
All right. That sounds amazing. And
Awesome.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you betcha, Darius. Thanks for being here. Thanks for spending some time with us talking about Incogni. So, folks, if you go to privacykim.com, that's where you can get my special deal on Incogni. Just check it out. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it, but you're going to love it. Once again, that's privacykim.com. Hey, thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us. And don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment wherever you're watching or listening to Kim Komando today. We appreciate you. And just one last plug. If you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win that brand new iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence. I know you want it. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
Okay, it's official. We are very much in the final sprint to Election Day. And face it, between debates, polling releases, even court appearances, it can feel exhausting, even impossible to keep up with. I'm Brad Milkey. I'm the host of Start Here, the daily podcast from ABC News. And every morning, my team and I get you caught up on the day's news in a quick, straightforward way that's easy to understand, with just enough context so you can listen, get it, and go on with your day. So, kickstart your morning. Start smart with Start Here and ABC News, because staying informed shouldn't feel overwhelming.